Hey guys, my name is Caedmon and welcome to my channel. This is the last video of 2019 that I'm posting, and I wanted to kind of go over some of the things that happened with me this year, things that I accomplished, things that I still want to do, and do kind of like a 2019 wrapped video. I know other people start to do it. YouTube Rewind has already been posted, and I thought that it was a lot better this year than last year. It was a lot less corny and a lot more geared toward what people were actually doing here on YouTube. So I wanted to go over some of the things that I did on YouTube and Instagram, some things that I did in my life and things that, influenced my everyday. So the first thing I want to do is talk about my Spotify 2019 Revisited. I do this every year. I've done it every year for the past couple years. But I wanted to go through some of the things that I found out on my Spotify Rewind. So I listened to about 16,000 minutes of music on Spotify this year, which is actually the least amount that I've listened to since 2016, I believe it was. I think this year it was more of, listening to it in the car rather than listening to it at home and stuff like that. But my top 5 artists on Spotify were Marina, of course, formerly Marina and the Diamonds, but she's my favorite singer. Number 2 was Kim Petras. I started listening to Kim Petras toward the end of last year, and she was actually my first concert and only concert of 2019. I got to see her back in November, and it was a really fun concert. Number 3 was Charlie XCX. I've, again, been listening to her for about 5 years or so now, actually probably a little bit longer. I've seen her many times, but this year the closest that she came to me was Atlanta, which was a little bit too far for me. Number 4 was Lady Gaga, which that was actually a little surprising to me considering she didn't release any music at all this year. I think it was mostly, listening to older albums and listening to the Star Is Born album, which is probably why she was on there. And then surprising in my number 5 spot was Billie Eilish. She released her album When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go earlier this year, as well as some standalone singles. But I was surprised to see her on there. I didn't think I'd listened to her all that much, but apparently I did. My top songs of the year, these are almost all Marina songs. She released her album this year as well. But number 1 was Handmade Heaven. Handmade Heaven was the lead single off of her album Love and Fear, and I was kind of surprised that out of all of the songs on that album, that was my number 1. But I suppose, I did listen to it on repeat quite a lot, and it does have a special meaning to me. She released that single at a time where I was transitioning through a lot. I was not really in a great way personally at the beginning of the year, and listening to that was just kind of like set up a hopeful emotion in me for the rest of the year. The number 2 song was also from Marina from Love and Fear, called Superstar. Number 3 was On a Roll by Ashley O. If you don't know that song or who Ashley O is, it was a character that Miley Cyrus played for an episode of Black Mirror, and it was a really good episode, and even though it was kind of dystopian take on her Hannah Montana experience, that song is just really, really good. Number 4 is Baby from Marina, featuring Louis Fonsi and Clean Bandit. That actually came out last year, but I thought that was one of my most listened to songs of the year. And number 5 was To Be Human by Marina. That's a song on the album talking kind of about human nature and, how at the end of the day we're all living in this world together. We kind of like bounce our energies off of each other, whether that's good energy or bad energy, and just being mindful of that you have an effect on people around you and they have an effect on you. So for my Instagram at Caedmon Cosmetics, if you're not following me already, it did grow a little bit this year. I had a lot of trouble with Instagram as far as, rules changing, likes being taken away. The algorithm felt really odd to me. Where people would pop up and start being successful very quickly, and I kind of plateaued for no exact reason. But over 2019, I made 166 posts on Instagram. I got 7,400 likes, and I currently have 344 followers. My goal for next year is to get that follower count on Instagram up to 1,000. I want to post more regularly, practice my artistry, advertise more things that I really enjoy, and make some more curated posts. And then for my YouTube channel, which is what you're watching on now, I uploaded 33 videos this year, most of which are still public. I currently have 149 subscribers, so I got 63 subscribers this year, and I got 6,600 views, which that just blew me away. There were quite a few videos this year that got a few hundred views to a few thousand views, and I was so excited about that because prior to that point, I only had one video in the last few years ever get over 100 views. So to have multiple videos get over 100 views in 1 year was actually really exciting for me. My top 5 videos on my channel this year were number 1, my Clinique ID introduction video. I posted that last year when Clinique ID was launched, December 26th, and that is currently sitting at, I think, 3,500 views. I was really excited about that because I work for Clinique at Ulta, and that was a way for me to kind of reach out to my own customers and other customers of Clinique to try to educate them on a new product. So it was really exciting to see that develop and see people respond very well to it. My second most popular video was the Jackie Aina palette controversy. That was just a conversation talking about, the Jackie Aina palette getting leaked and why people were upset about it. And it did start a little bit of a conversation. I had a few subscribers come to my channel from that video. I don't think that's really the kind of video that I'm going to be making. It was a little bit kind of drama-y, but I wanted to talk about it because it was relevant at the time, not so much anymore. My third most popular video was the Morphe 35H tutorial. That was one of their spring summer palettes. Number 4 was a Juvia's Place Warrior palette tutorial. I still like that look, and I still like that palette quite a bit. And number 5 was a trying new products video. I had a bunch of new products that I had gotten from work, and I was just kind of trying them out, having fun with it, so I thought I would try them out on camera. I'm actually wearing the foundation that I tried in that video today. One of my goals for my YouTube channel in 2020 is to upload a little bit more consistently and hopefully get up to 1,000 subscribers on here as well. So 1,000 on Instagram, 1,000 on YouTube. I think that would be really cool. But we'll see what happens. At the end of the day, Instagram and YouTube is just for fun for me, and I like to share with people, and I like to teach people, and I like to share what I think about them and the techniques that I use. So I hope that reaches out to certain people, and whenever somebody listens to what I have to say about a product and they try it and they really enjoy it, or they put on their blush a different kind of way, or they start contouring differently because of a way that I do it, I think that's really cool. I think it's cool to be able to help people kind of improve their own game and improve their own makeup style and find their own style. And I really like to do that, so hopefully I can do that a lot more next year. So overall, this year kind of started off a little bit rocky for me. I was feeling a little bit lost and a little bit muted down, and there's a lot that I was struggling with, and there was a lot that I started working toward overcoming. Some of that were financial aspects as far as budgeting, paying off bills. Some of it was about addictions that I had, minor addictions that I just recently started addressing. So smoking was one of them, going to Starbucks, buying makeup. All of those were forms of addictions that were hurting me more than they were helping me. And within the last few months, I've really started to, look at things differently and change my practices to not have those be such strong forces anymore. I haven't bought a pack of cigarettes in over a month, which is great. I've had a couple here and there, but, it's a lot less than what it was. Starbucks in the last month or so, I think I've gone maybe 7 or 8 times as opposed to every day, sometimes twice a day. I think at the height of this year, sometimes I was going to Starbucks 3 times a day. And that financially is not good. And I think probably health-wise is not good for you to be drinking that much coffee. One thing that I kind of came to terms with over this year is body positivity. My body has been changing quite a lot since I moved to Florida. I'm the heaviest now that I've ever been, but looking back at it, I was very underweight. I'm about 6', 6'1", and when I moved to Florida, I was about 120 pounds. I didn't realize, looking in the mirror, how thin I was until probably this summer when I started, thinking about myself in a swimsuit, and I outgrew my swimsuit and I outgrew a lot of my clothes actually. So I had to buy, new pants, and I have to buy a new swimsuit soon. And I really started to recognize that how I've been seeing myself for the longest time was not exactly how I actually looked. And now I've been kind of embracing a little bit of like the thick dad bod kind of thing. And I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with how I look right now. I'm okay with how my body is. And primarily the main reason for that is because I feel like I'm healthier. I don't feel like I'm starving myself. I don't feel like I'm attacking my body anymore. I could be more active, but who couldn't be more active? I also, stopped eating out as much. I started learning how to cook. My fiance started teaching me how to cook this year, so that was really cool because I went from not being able to cook anything to now, if you leave me alone for a few days, I could probably survive. And I think that that's really awesome. We cook together. I cook on my own sometimes, like little things, nothing super fancy, but I can feed myself and I can go grocery shopping. And I've never done that before, really. And I think that's probably one of the biggest changes in my body and how I eat and how I spend money is grocery shopping instead of eating out and, doing all that kind of stuff. Another thing that I was having a hard time with this year that I really I had to grow up and I had to buckle down and I had to kind of reflect on myself about, how I approach certain issues and how I react to things and faults that I had that I didn't want to admit that I had. And I'm still not perfect. I still have a little bit of a temper. I still overreact to things all the time. But overall, I feel like I don't hold things within myself so much. Like, I say what I need to say. I deal with issues and things that are bothering me head on rather than letting them just like fester inside of me and become this big, huge thing. Like, if I have a problem with something, I want to talk about it or I want to argue about it and I want to get it out of the way. So that way it's not inside of me anymore and it's not making me feel bad all the time. And I feel like for me personally, that's helped. For anybody else around me, I don't know. But for me, being able to speak my mind and being able to voice things that are bothering me and voice things that I have a problem with instead of absorbing them and internalizing them has helped me quite a lot as well. There are some things that I started working on this year that I really want to continue working on next year. Some of those are, again, smoking. I wanted to get to the point where I'm not smoking anything at all. Starbucks, I want to get to the point where it's at like a very normal kind of level. Like maybe I would go to Starbucks every couple weeks instead of every couple days. Buying makeup. I realistically don't need any makeup. However, it's one of the only things that makes me happy. It's a hobby of mine, it's a passion of mine, it's a career of mine. So I can never say that I'm going on a no-buy this year for makeup, skincare, fragrance, beauty products, anything like that. It's just not realistic. But over the year, I used to post videos about kind of my low buy and how I was doing on it and this, that, the other. And I stopped making those videos after a little while. But after I stopped making the videos, I started buying a lot less. And my average went from about $120 a month at the start of the year to about $35 a month, which I think is really, really good. And out of that 35, some of that isn't even products. Some of that is like disposables, like cotton squares. Some of that is my brows, because I do get my brows done every 3 weeks to a month or so. They're little things that I do for myself to make myself feel better and to make myself look better. And I'm glad that I started thinking differently about makeup, because it kind of has been all encompassing in my life for so long. And I wanted it to be fun again. I felt like for a long time I was just so irritated. I didn't want to be in the beauty industry at all anymore. I didn't want to be on social media anymore. I left all of the beauty groups that I was in this year, and I feel like it has taken a lot of pressure off of me. It's kind of helped me realign with myself and, use products that I like to use and train myself to help develop my technique and develop my artistry and not have to be buying so much. I need to be using what I have. And so that's a goal of mine for 2020, is to use up more of what I have and bring in less new things. But I've done a really good job on that, so I'm hoping that it continues. Another thing that I started this year that I haven't done well at keeping on lately, but I really want to get back into it, is learning Spanish. My fiance speaks Spanish with his family. He speaks Spanish at work. So because of him, I wanted to learn how to speak Spanish. I want to be able to, when I meet his family and when I, meet his friends and go to his job, to be able to talk to people. So I started learning Spanish earlier this year. I know a little bit. I'm not very good. I'm not fluent. I'm not even barely fluent, but I can understand a couple things and I can say a couple things. When I'm at work, I can generally help somebody if they're looking for something and they speak Spanish. I can get an idea of what they're looking for. So that's helpful to me, because not a lot of people at my job speak Spanish. So I'm getting there, and I want to keep getting there. I want to get to the point where I can hold a good conversation in Spanish without knowing any English. That leads me to some of the other goals that I have for 2020. I want to pay off more of my debt. I started paying off debt this year. I started talking about that a couple years ago, right after I moved to Florida, but I started doing it this year. And then next year, I'll have a couple things paid off and then continue to keep on paying off that debt. I want to get promoted at work. I really want to be in more of a leadership position. I feel like I'm good in an operational sense because I'm organized, I'm detail-oriented, and I like putting things together and making them look good. So I'm hoping that one of those opportunities will come around for me this year. I want to travel more, and I want to go to the beach more. I said that last year, and I went to the beach one time at the very beginning of the year, so I really do want to go more. And I want to drink more water. That's something that I started improving on this year. I bought this big reusable water bottle that holds all of the water you need for a day, and I want to start drinking one of those every single day and keep myself hydrated. And hopefully that will have some more positive effects later on. So speaking of everything that happened in 2019, probably, definitely, the biggest and most important things that have happened to me were moving in and getting engaged with my fiance. And I would really like you to meet him, because I've been talking about him for a while now. So give me 1 second. All right, and here he is. This is Kevin.
What's up, YouTube?
So we got engaged a couple months ago. He has been helping me learn Spanish, helping me learn how to cook. He's been cutting my hair and overall putting up with me. What's your favorite thing that's happened this year?
Getting our apartment. It's nice.
Yeah, we lived separately, obviously, as everybody does for the first part of their relationship. And I had 2 roommates before, and when you're living with other people, it's kind of hard to do what you want to do. You always have to be mindful of everybody else that's in the space, but we've been in our apartment now since August, and it's been nice to kind of expand and not live in one room, but have an entire place to yourself.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're looking forward to for next year?
I'm looking forward to traveling with you and going new places and making more memories.
Where's somewhere that you want to go? Because I told them I want to travel more, but where's someplace that you want to go that we can go this year?
Okay. I want to go to Spain. That's like my number one.
Okay.
Just because of, my ancestry is from there. So anywhere in Spain is good. I know you said you wanted to go to Barcelona.
I do want to go to Barcelona.
So we'll go to Barcelona.
Cheetah Girls.
Yeah. And I want to go to southern Spain as well. Anywhere around there. Just because it's a lot more Spanish.
Okay.
That's a good way to say it. A lot more Spanish. That hasn't really been, less touristy, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, it's less touristy, so it's a lot more. I don't want to say authentic, but that's kind of like what I'm going at. I have a YouTube channel as well. If you want to see me and, probably more videos of glass on mine as well. It's just look for Kevin Miller. That's my YouTube account name. It's in the description below.
So I'm glad you guys have finally gotten to meet Kevin. You've seen bits and pieces of him on my YouTube videos and on my Instagram for a little while now, but here he is. He's real, not an actor. Thanks again for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoy anything that I'm going to be putting out in 2020 and anything that he puts on his channel in 2020. Thank you again for watching. If you're not already, follow me on Instagram at Caedmon-Cosmetics. Subscribe to my channel here and subscribe to his channel. The link will be in the description box.
Yeah.
I hope you guys have a great day, and remember that you are clearly beautiful.
You look good.
Okay.
No kiss? What?
Oh.
We gotta. Hopefully, it didn't get lipstick on me.
I didn't. Maybe a little.